Robin is in the sewers when when he receives Alfred's message. He is sent to save the lives of General Burrows, who is in the midst of a training exercise. Robin arrives just in time to defend the general from a Talon attack. The Talon is revealed to have lived around the Civil War era. He was assigned to kill Edmund Wilkins, a descendant of General Burrows. However, he fails. The Talon, hoping to correct that mistake, moves to kill the general. However, Robin manages to defeat him.
Damian Wayne is a very, very good character, and unlike maybe in the New 52, he is obviously very loyal to his father, and I really, really like that. I really, really like the loyalty that Damian shows to Bruce Wayne. And I also liked how Damian paralleled with the Talon from the Civil War era, and the background for this Talon was really, really interesting as well. My only problem is that Damian kills this Talon. I don't entirely buy the fact that a 10-year-old boy could kill a fully grown man who can regenerate. This Talon obviously has more skills and more strength than Damian Wayne. And I don't get how Damian Wayne was able to kill the Talon in the first place. B. Grant Morrison established the fact that Damian Wayne has those killer instincts, but was being inspired by his father. I'm not altogether why Damian Wayne killed the Talon. If none of the other, is Damian Wayne supposed to be different or struggling with those killer instincts? I just didn't know why Damian Wayne killed the Talon to begin with. So I give this issue a 4 out of 5.
Red Hood, Red Arrow, and Starfire are in Gotham. After learning about the Court of Owls, the Outlaws go after Mr. Freeze, who has been targeted by the Court of Owls. It is revealed that Mr. Freeze helped the Court of Owls to control the freezing process that allowed the Court of Owls, allowing them to reanimate the dead. The Outlaws attempt to defeat Mr. Freeze and the Talon. The Talon leads Red Hood to Hades Circus, where Red Hood realizes he has a lot in common with the Talon. The Talon then begs Red Hood to kill him and free him from the Court of Owls. Starfire defeats Mr. Freeze and Red Hood drops him off at GCPD.
Just right off the gate, I loved the panel at the very end of this issue. It felt very, very almost cinematic, and it was just such a cool little panel to end this chapter on. And I really, really liked that. And in my opinion, this was the second best tie-in there was. The first, in my opinion, being Batgirl. And I loved the fun character dynamics that all of the Outlaws and the Court of Owls had. The character interaction between the Talon and between Jason and the Talon was really, really interesting. And just the character dynamics in general were just really, really good. Also, I love the fact that there is a superhero team seeking to atone for past sins. Starfire, Red Hood, and Arsenal are characters who are considered the worst superheroes. And not because they're just blatantly bad superheroes, but they're considered to be superheroes that go against what characters like Superman and Batman believe in. And I really, really like the fact that there is a team out there who are willing to go against what teams like the Justice League established. And just for this reason alone, I give Red Hood a 5 out of 5. I'm seriously considering picking up Red Hood and the Outlaws. I just really like the concept to the story. And the fact that a tie-in could get me interested in more characters means that the tie-in successfully achieved what it set out to do.
Nighthawk, Cinnamon, and Jonah Hex apprehend a criminal they have been hunting down. Jonah breaks off from the duo later and heads towards Gotham City. On his travels, he meets a female version of a Talon, who kills a man from Gotham. Jonah, however, manages to save this man. The Talon runs off and Jonah continues to head to Gotham. Meanwhile, another Western vigilante located in Gotham challenges a group of rich men at Wayne Casino. However, another masked vigilante in these men's employment defeats her and throws her out of the casino. In the backstory, Nighthawk and Cinnamon go after the man who killed Cinnamon's father.
I have never read a book that blatantly had nothing to do with the tie-in that it's supposed to be tied into. And B, whilst I like the ideas that the book presented, why is this book even a part of this tie-in? I get the fact that All-Star Western is supposed to cover stuff that happened before like characters like Batman and Superman started to appear. But the thing is, All-Star Western has nothing to do with the tie-in. 2 pages worth of this entire tie-in linked in with, featured a Talon. The rest of it just focused on, just acted as though it was telling an ongoing story. Which is fine, but then don't add a Talon into the mix. Don't add a Talon which basically serves no impact to the story. However, what I did like about this story was the idea of Western vigilantes before the idea of superheroes. And it has this kind of Legend of Zorro kind of feel to the story. And I also like the fact that there may have been a superhero for every generation. Other than that, this issue is not needed. And the tie-in and the backup story also was kind of very confusing. Although the Cinnamon and Nighthawk are very cute together, I don't see what this story sought to achieve. And it definitely did not make me want to read this book. And giving it a 2 out of 5 is being very, very generous.
Batwing, Matthew, and Lucius Fox are analysing the Batwing armour at Wayne Tower. Lucius then invites them to a party being held for Batman Incorporated, although Batwing is reluctant to attend. Matthew accepts them both, and they attend the party. Batwing meets the Prime Minister of Africa, who anchors Batwing, and he accuses the Prime Minister of being a warlord. Elsewhere, the Court of Owls are sent to assassinate Gotham's most important and influential people. One Talon, who is active in 1856, is sent to kill Lucius Fox. The Talon breaks into Wayne Tower and sets it on fire, forcing Batwing to don his armor and fight him.
Batwing was kind of a cool character. And we finally get Batman Incorporated being incorporated into this Court of Owls story. Batwing kind of reminded me of Black Panther in a way. Like, he's an African superhero who kind of was brought in with the Batman Incorporated. I just like the idea that they took advantage of Batman Incorporated being also being introduced in this story. Because Batman would need a lot more help. Batman actually has a whole team dedicated to taking on these kind of threats. And I really hope that in the future we see more Batman Incorporated being introduced in storylines. Grant Morrison set this team up and set them up to take on threats that to take on these kind of threats. And I also like the fact that having an African superhero also meant we could tackle some African social politics that, in my opinion, are very relevant to today's society, particularly as stuff that's happening outside of Western Europe are becoming more and more important to what happens in this country. And that was very, very interesting to me. My only downsides to this issue were the fact that the Matthew character looks like Nick Fury, which is kind of funny, but kind of, weird at the same time. Like, Marvel, why are you not jumping on the fact that they have a character that looks like your Samuel L. Jackson character? And B, I felt that the Talon was really, really generic. Yeah, the Talon was a bit generic, and his backstory just wasn't interesting to me. I would give this story about a 4 out of 5. And again, I do think it would be another comic I would pick up.
In 1655, a Talon named Ephraim Newhouse failed in his mission and was retired in shame by the Court of Owls. The Talon also lost one of his blades in the process. In the present, Ephraim is released with the other Talons to kill Gotham's most important and influential people. Elsewhere, Catwoman and Sparks break into Penguin's base after the Talon attempts to assassinate the Penguin. Catwoman displays her heroic side as she attempts to save the Penguin from the Talon.
This issue felt a little rushed, in my opinion. And the story was very meh as well. But it does do some interesting stuff as well. For example, the Talon's backstory featured an honourable Talon, which in my opinion was really, really interesting. Because the Talon has no patience for an honourable Talon. And we also see how this Talon's honour was damaged by the Court of Owls. Like, the Court of Owls turned a good person into a damaged one. And I really, really like how the Court of Owls controls their Talons. Other than that, it just really is just a generic story, really. We see Catwoman's sense of judgment win out over her good nature. That sort of separates her from other Gotham villains. I found the Penguin a little bit dull. Sparks was meh. I also found it a little bit strange that Catwoman managed to defeat the Talon without any prior knowledge of the Talons and how to beat them. Yeah, and I found this issue just really, really just meh. However, I still liked it a lot more than the Death of Family tie-in. I would give this about a 3 out of 5. Definitely not the worst of the bunch, but not the best either. Final thoughts on these tie-ins. I thought the tie-ins for the Court of Owls was very well put together. It was a lot more easy to follow than the Death of Family event. The tie-ins stay true to the thematics that Zack Snyder was doing with his Batman story. It stayed true to the origins of what the Court of Owls was. Although some of the Talons were quite similar, and some of them started to get a bit generic at times, most of the Talons were quite interesting. And for the stories that really try to develop these Talons, they presented some really interesting Talons. These tie-ins presented the Court of Owls as a force, as an ancient force that predated Batman. and that they've been there right from the start. You know, and the Court of Owls mythology is integrated with this universe. And I really got a sense of that reading these comics. And I would even go as far as to say that the tie-ins were a little better than the Night of Owls the Night of Owls volume. And I just really, really liked the concept of the Court of Owls. And they also felt a bit like Assassin's Creed to me. Just in the way they are presented. Just some really, really good character stuff. And I really, really liked these tie-ins.